Well, Chris, we're a few days on from that win over West Brom. Your side obviously came from behind on the day, so did that really emphasise their refusal to give in?
Don't think that's ever been in doubt, Dan, if I'm honest. You don't go to Old Trafford and get that result. You don't do what you've done, score late games without having a bit about you, and I think this team's definitely got a bit about them.
Now, two of your centre-backs, they had a key part to play in both goals. McNair scoring one, Dyke still pretty much setting up the second. You must be delighted to see those sorts of goals. I mean, while the ball's in full swing there, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that, but listen, we're positive. We're going to be a positive team, trying to create a positive team here at Middlesbrough. So dominate possession and try whatever we need to do to get back into the game or to win a game. So we were up the pitch, so we have to. We've pinned them back in, as we've pinned quite a few teams back in and moving the ball around. So, we have to be nice and bright and smart in that final third. I think one of the criticisms, as I keep saying about the performance at Bristol City, it wasn't a criticism of a lot of things. It was a criticism of the final bit. We got that right on Tuesday night in the passages of play that resulted in us scoring and Amph and Paddy being involved and scoring the goals.
Well, did you have a keen eye on the scores on Wednesday night? Because all the teams around you, they seem to be dropping points and then last minute goals left, right and centre. Were you watching along like me in disbelief?
No, you're going to give yourself a heart attack, mate. You need to chill out a bit. If you're going to go like that, you've got another 15 weeks of this, or whatever it is. You can't get caught up in it. Listen, you come off and everybody understands the results, and yeah, of course you look at it, and I think, like I've always said, I think people will be not telling the truth if there was opportunities there for teams below to beat the teams in and around it, but I don't think you can get obsessed by it. As I said after the game or before the game, and it's where that final ball or whatever it is, if it's before that'd be fabulous, but it's that final whistle goes at Preston. If we've done enough, we deserve to have done enough, and we're in the mix or anything more. I don't think. I think, from, as I said all along, Fulham and Bournemouth are huge favourites to go up in the top two. And I think on that, it's going to be a roller coaster right the way through for quite a few teams. So you got to ride with it. You got to enjoy the wins, and you've got to quickly bounce back from your setbacks, which obviously we did on Saturday into Tuesday.
Now, midweek, you moved Marcus Tavernier to left wing-back. He got a goal and an assist within 10 minutes, so it paid off. Just talk us through that tactical decision, and do you think we could see more of him in that position in the future?
Well, Marcus is a talented footballer that's got great energy, great enthusiasm. I think, as a lot's been talked about Jonah and the young players, but then when you stick Tav in there as a 22-year-old, he's still learning the game. He's still got more potential and more growing to do and learning to do. But he does so many things right for us, and I think I read in his interview as well, he's playing a huge part in us getting the results that we're getting. So he can play there. He's played in different positions for the football club. He's played as an 8 for me, and as I've said, gone along on record saying, that's arguably been our best part of the team, the sort of the midfield three of Howson, Crooks and Tav. He understands it. He's a bright boy that he has to have. He's trying to add goals and assists to his game. But I think as well, such a good team player as well. He goes and plays there. I should imagine if I stuck him as a 6, he'd go and play there, or as a 10, he'd go and play there. He just gets on with it and produces really consistent performances. And I think we're just all delighted that he got a goal as well, because he's got the ability to score.
Certainly has. And Duncan Watmore, he came off the bench and had a real impact once again. on Tuesday. You praised his energy post-match. Is he bringing down your door begging to get back in the starting lineup, or is he not that sort of character?
Well, they all are. They wouldn't be professional footballers if they didn't want to play or start, but they understand. This group of players, if they're going to be successful this back last third of the season, it ain't going to be done by 11 players. That's it. Period. It ain't gonna. And then if they think it is, then, and I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they're bright enough. They are selfish enough at times to wanting to play all the time, but this is a team game, and team is 21, 22, 23, not 11. So the contributions of everybody is really important. Players have been out the team, come on and contribute. Bamba comes on and sticks a penalty away at the Stretford end. That's a contribution. Peltz comes on Tuesday night. That's a contribution. Josh Coburn comes on against Reading. They're all contributions. They're all part of a group. So I'm not going for the individual outlook. I'm not going for players banging my door down. They can come and have a chat with me, and I'll explain sort of situations, but they're not personal. This is a group effort and a team effort, and if we're going to get over the line and wherever we finish, it'll be about the 20 that does that, not the individuals through that group have to produce big moments, which they have done in the time, but this is about a group effort. And as you see now, there's quite a lot of teams that are losing players by the week, and losing form as well, individuals and teams. So this is important that the group is really strong, it's healthy, it's in form, which it is. Individually it's in form. Collectively, the results that we've got over the last 2 months suggest that the team is in form, and we've just got to keep that going and keep bothering about us.
And Barnsley on Saturday, they're obviously rock bottom of the league, so on paper it looks a great opportunity, but the game's not played on paper, is it?
You're certainly right there, Dan. It's a championship game of football, so as long as we don't lose it in our changing room, that's the message for me to the players. Don't lose it in your own changing room. Make sure you're right, you're at it. No doubt we will be, backed by 5,000. I always think that Barnsley is one of the best away grounds in the division. It's a brilliant end, and 5,000 Middlesbrough supporters being there on Saturday afternoon, possibly more. It's another great backing, and hopefully, the positive attitude of the team and the supporters will make it a really good afternoon for us, but one that we have to yet again go and produce another performance in.
And what type of a game are you expecting from Barnsley? They're obviously fighting for their life down there. Do you think it'll be quite high intensity?
Well, they all are, aren't they? They're all high intensity games. They're all tough games. Nothing's won on paper. Nothing's won in a change room. You've got to go and fight. You've got to earn the right to play and put your mark on the game and dominate and dictate. And that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to do that in every game so far, and we'll try go to Oakwell on Saturday and do the same.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you.
Chris from Time Tees.
Hey, Chris.
Morning, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Just following up on that about Marcus Tavernier, it's important, isn't it, that sort of people realise he is only 22. He's got years ahead of him yet.
What's he doing breaking into the first team at 18 and 17 and 18? Why didn't he just break in at 21 then? He'd get a bit of a better press, wouldn't he? I suppose.
It feels like he's been around for a long time, I guess, is what I'm saying. And
yeah.
He is only 22.
Yeah, he's still loads to learn. I think, you look at footballers and you'll talk about sort of the 250, 300 game mark. And if you go on an average of 46 games a season, you're looking sort of 5.5 years. So, 24, 25, you're coming into your peak even longer later. So Tav, hopefully, he's got a lot more progression, a lot more development in him, and I think when you work with him, he really wants to do well. He's a real team player. He wants to do well here as well. He's not got his agent onto me, and I've not got him onto me. I want to go do this. I want to play there. He wants to play here. Sees his future here. We see his future here, and he's a bright, intelligent boy, and suits the way we play. Athletically very good, excellent, better than very good, excellent. I think there was one recovery run first half on Tuesday, where I think it was Tuesday, if my memory serves me right, where he's recovered from nowhere to get back and stop a counter attack. We all know that we want that other little bit to add to the game, but he will do. That sometimes comes with experience and comes with age, a little bit more composure in the final bit, because he's certainly, on a Monday to Friday, if you speak to any of the players or any of the coaches, he's certainly got that talent. He's just sort of bringing that in the final little bit. I thought it was quite unfortunate on Saturday. He put 2 or 3 great balls in. He possibly should do better on 1 or 2 occasions, and maybe he needs to get his shot off a little bit quicker in other occasions. But he's certainly got that ability to score. If you're looking at the start of the season, I'm looking. Can you go and score 10 goals from that position, Tav? And I believe, from a standing start, next year he'll be able to do that.
Was he someone that you were aware of before you came to the club, or if you were, has it surprised you just how good he is?
No, I think it's an insular game. Is football, and especially at Championship and Premier League level. So, whatever level you're working at, about the really good young players at various clubs. In this division, we know about the players at Bournemouth, and about the players at Fulham, and the likes of in the big league as well. So he's one that we knew about, and we're looking forward to working with, and he's not disappointed us in that.
Just in terms of Barnsley, obviously, as was mentioned there, they are at the bottom of the table, but they've sort of they've had a bit of a topsy-turvy few years, haven't they? That they seem to be doing quite well under Ishmael, and then it sort of hasn't quite kicked on.
Yeah, I think that happens with a number of clubs, doesn't it? Certain things happen. You maybe lose some players. You lose a manager, and then sort of it can quickly change from feast to famine, as we know more than possibly any club in the division over the last 5 years. So it's happened here, and you don't want it to happen. And it happens at other clubs. You look at Derby County playoff final. Serial playoff contenders getting out of the division. Situation that they're in now. Reading's the same. Bristol City were in amongst it for quite a number of years, and so it happens. I think we're all after that consistency, to knock on the door to try and challenge and get out of the division, and that's certainly what we're hoping to do in the future.
On the knocking on the door, I mean, it won't have gone unnoticed that supporters are starting to dream a little bit about what the end of the season might hold. You, I'm sure, won't allow yourself to dream. Are the players dreaming a little bit, do you think?
I don't know. I've got too much work, mate, to start asking about what they do at night time and how they dream. So possibly not. Knowing young males, they might be dreaming about something else.
That's certainly not the way I thought.
Yeah, I'll leave it. We'll move on quickly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I guess what I mean.
Oh, you've got to believe. Listen, there's got to be ambition. There's got to be belief. But belief, of course you do. Yeah, of course. You sometimes drift. I suppose that's a better way of putting it, mate, than dream. Sometimes your head drifts and to what can be, but they've all got ambition. We've all got ambition. We've all got belief. There's all expectation on us. We understand that. We've got to get the job done. We're in the here and now, but you want it to be big. You want it to be big games towards the end of the season, and if we want to set it up for it to be important and big, and realise those ambitions, then we've got to get the job done on Saturday and next Saturday and next Tuesday to to be in the mix. As I said, it's going to be a roller coaster sort of for me. Like last 15 games. Let's get to the international break, hopefully in a healthy position, and then it is really game on. That's why I usually think, you know, second part of the season after January goes really quick, especially after this international break. So a lot of games coming up. Let's stay healthy, let's stay in form, let's be clinical in both boxes. The bit in between, I keep saying, is really good. If you can find those big moments in both boxes, then I'm sure that you know, we can stay consistent with the performances, stroke results.
The sort of teams that are in the mix for the playoffs at the moment. I mean, it's so tight, the table. Is it one of the more competitive years of the Championship that you've ever known?
Oh, absolutely. But I think what will happen there is not only everybody's got something to play for. I don't know one team that feels that they've got nothing to play for. And I've always said this, and this is professional football. Even if a team is in mid-placed in the division, they, for their own personal pride, they want to. You know, how many games have you been at the end of the season where nobody's got anything to play for, and you think, oh, this is going to be an absolute stroll, and the team that you're playing against plays like Real Madrid, absolutely fights for every ball and wants to turn you over and stitch you up. You know, they want to do that, don't they? You know, and there's no doubt about it. So, you know, this is what professional football's about, and personal pride through players, managers, coaches, and supporters. They all want to, you know, like I said, that mid-table team all wants to be the one that I think going back. I think Fulham had to win at Birmingham about 2 or 3 seasons ago. I think the year that they went up, last game of the season, where Cardiff got a result like, and Birmingham didn't have anything to play for, and it was like, you know, Birmingham punters are on the pitch, you know, at the end of the game because Fulham haven't got the result that they wanted, and I think that's going to happen right the way through. So strap yourselves in. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but hopefully an enjoyable one. I
was going to say, and when it's like this, is this when you enjoy it the most?
I enjoy my job, you know. Well, I don't enjoy it when we get beat, of course, but listen, there's always an opportunity of that feeling that happens on Tuesday night when you see your team get yourselves back into the game and go on to win a game against a tough outfit. So, you know, it's sort of the ups and downs as well. I've always said that. I always think the downs are a lot worse and the ups are a lot greater than they were as a player. In my opinion, as somebody who has to take responsibility, overall responsibility. But yeah, it's exciting. It's where we want to be. You know, as I think the Barnsley manager said, you know, comes out with the old, you know, there's pressure on them. Well, yeah, you know, of course, the old ones that come out at this time of year, the predictable lines that come out from managers. Oh, there's a load of pressure on them, and there's quite a bit of pressure on you, mate, though, isn't there? So, you know, you know, you have to deal with all that nonsense that people talk about. We're here. It feels as if we're all enjoying it. It looks as if we're all enjoying it, and players are certainly enjoying playing with a freedom and expressing themselves. And let's keep it going.
Brilliant, Chris. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Tro.
Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Morning, Chris. Chris, you speak there about the pressure, and earlier you joked about kind of, you know, looking too much at the other games, etc. I mean, is that your advice to the players as well? Is it the kind of, you know, try and put that to the side and just focus on yourselves and what you're doing?
They can't control anything else, Craig, can they? They can't control anything about their own individual attitude, performance, recovery, how they live their life away from here, how they go about their business in training, what they produce on the pitch. That's the only thing that they control. So if they do that to the best of their ability, and we manage to bring that together, make some good decisions, try and pick the right team at the right time, and try and make the right decisions, you know, to help or influence them, because that's all it is. It's helping or influence them. But we're really in their hands, aren't we? All of us, from supporters to coaches and managers, because if they turn up and say yes, then we've got a chance. If they don't turn up and don't say yes, then it's going to be quite difficult. But at the moment they are, and I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying watching them do that.
Yeah, you mentioned that picking the best team possibly can, and it feels more often than not lately we talk about particularly the strikers having an impact from the bench, and you mentioned earlier about how they're all contributing whether they're starting or not, but of course all players want to start. I mean, how difficult are they making it for you? There's 4 strikers, and because whether they're starting or coming off the bench, they are having impact in games.
They've got to be. That like I said, it's a team, it's a group. Not 2 of them won't play the next 15 games, start the next 15 games and play 90 minutes right away. They won't. That's just impossible. It's impossible physically to do it with the amount of games it is in the Championship. It's impossible mentally to do it. So that there's possibly a little bit more of consistency in maybe different parts of the team, but especially at the top of the pitch, they understand that, they know that, they have to buy into that. That's how it is, that's where we've got a really good. I think we've got a good group of players right the way through the team, but certainly at the top of the pitch, you want that impact of what you had on Tuesday night. We're disappointed to lose Andy for the weekend because he would have possibly got on the pitch as well as Duncan. So the thing is as well, like sometimes there is the timing of it as well, because you don't just change it for change's sake. But there's times where you feel maybe. You guys may think, oh, that was a bit early, but that's the experience that we have as coaches and managers to have that gut feeling and feel that this is the right time. But there were certainly times against Derby where I felt the front 2 could keep going because they were in good rhythm and playing well. So it isn't 60 minutes off, you two come off, you two go on, or whatever. There's different ways of playing. Like we did, we chucked. We played 3 at the top of the pitch and put them in different positions. There's different ways of going about that in terms of from the tactical bit or just a like-for-like replacement. So that's possibly the most responsibility that we've got on our shoulders, is making sure that we get that right.
Yeah, and just lastly from me, Chris, injuries, I know, how are you looking after Tuesday, and how's Mark Bowler getting on?
Yeah, good. Bowles is back. He should be available for the Luton game. He's going to have a week's training to full starting on Monday. So we'll train right the way through. So we'll look at him for Saturday, but definitely back in full training and available for Saturday and part of the group, which is really important. Now we're looking at Martin Piero, really the only short-term injury, and obviously the 2 other boys, Darnell and Sam, that are out for the season.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Chris. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, Craig. Thank you, mate.
Matty.
Hey, Matty.
Morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, mate.
Good stuff. Just on Bowler, was he someone you knew about before you came to the club?
Yeah, as I said, we all know about all the players that were here as well, so we know his history through him being a young player, going up to Blackpool as well, and obviously Middlesbrough signed him, yeah.
Yeah, and your assessments of him are ones that you shared positively on Bowler?
Yeah, he's not played for quite a while, so I'd rather talk about players that are playing at the moment. But he's a good young player coming into sort of second part of the season, second part of his career, and he's got a part to play for us here. Short term, he was playing when I took over. Got injured. I don't know, quite early on, wasn't it? I think it was. Played at Stoke.
Yeah, Stoke might have been his last.
I don't know, the last year. I think that it was the week, because obviously it was a training incident, which was really unfortunate because it was just a contact, him coming together for a tackle on a Friday, and it really innocuous, really, Matty, but disappointing result in terms of when he went for a scan. But he's worked hard to get himself back in, so he's another body in, and a body in a key position that will obviously strengthen the group.
You touched on, the travelling support heading down to Barnsley. I think it's something like close to 5,000, and it's obviously there's a sellout next week at Tottenham. Now, part of your remit when you first came to the club was, reconnecting the fan base and kind of bringing that level of support back to the club. So big tick in your box when you look at those two games, I guess.
Yeah, from everybody, the players that, like I said, the players have got to go out and produce the performances, and they've done that. They've got the supporters off the seats, and they need to keep doing that. We've had some great afternoons, stroke evenings. Your afternoons against your derbies and your Forests and your Bournemouths. Your evenings at Old Trafford and at Blackpool, and we're here to create more. And it's been fabulous to see the supports coming back, not just away from home but at home. I think the tendencies have nudged up as well, and hopefully we'll keep nudging up towards the back end of the season. The games are going to come thick and fast. They take on more importance with hopefully the results that we pick up. So as I talked about, let's make those games at the back end of the season really, really important games by getting the results now. So we're playing a good standard of football. I think that it's something that the supporters are enjoying, which is really important to me. That we have an identity as a team that our supporters enjoy watching. Going to get a bit frustrated at times. Of course we are. We all do. But on the whole, it's been a good start, and I'm delighted that the supporters are enjoying what we're producing.
And just finally, for me, you mentioned the hectic fixture schedule there. I know you've said in the past that this just the nature of the division, and the players are going to have to cope with it. But are the players coping with it well?
Well, all I can say is I look at the Bristol City game. We're piling in the end, trying to get a result, and the energy levels are good. The Derby game, off the back of a trip to QPR, off the back of a trip to Old Trafford. So if you go in isolation of the last sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, that have been really strong. To get up off the canvas at half time. 1-0 down against West Brom, an experienced streets wise side. Slowed the game down, and obviously from the difficulties from the officiating point of view that made everybody in the ground really frustrated. To come back and go again and look really strong. And I think if you speak to the players, maybe it's a question for the players, how they feeling, physically. Results do help, performances do help, but physically, for me, then they're not getting overrun. They're looking strong towards the end of the games, towards the final quarter of the game, and it's important that this second part of the season, or last third of the season, is that we get stronger and stronger, keeping healthy, and hopefully we can use that to our advantage in the last 15 games.
Great stuff. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Matty. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Chris, we're all getting very excited about Barnsley.
Are you dreaming, Rob?
Yes.
Hiya. What's in your dreams, mate?
That arch, that Wembley. Yeah, but it's going to, as you've touched upon, it's going to be a very big crowd going down to Barnsley, and we're looking forward to a great game. Are you looking forward to a big afternoon?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, I think the performances over the last sort of 3 away games have been pretty good. QPR, Bristol City, 2, and to only get 1 point out of those 2 games is quite baffling, really, for the amount of possession, opportunities that we've had, how we've played generally. But as I keep saying, clinical in both boxes. I think if we'd have been clinical as we were against Derby in both boxes, then I think we'd have had possibly another 5 points on the on the points total, but we weren't, and we have to take that criticism head on, and players have to, and we have to learn from that, to be clinical in both boxes. But we've certainly dominated two sides there, but we have to play well, which we believe we are away from home just as well as we are playing at home. But the result, we have to get matched up by the performance. Play well and win is something that we talk about. If we play well, we have to get something. We have to win the game or get something from the game, and it's important that we look to play well on Saturday afternoon.
We seem to score quite a lot of goals through the team now. A lot of players arriving late in the box or getting own goals actually. But is that a real plus that defenders don't know who to mark, who to pick up?
Well, we're flooding the box. I think if you look at the goal against QPR, even though it goes down as an own goal, I think we've got 7 players in the box at that time. There's a still there, and I think Amp's in the box, Jones in the box, Crooks is in the box, Neil Taylor's in the box, and I think we had 7 players in that particular moment. And I think even when you looked at sort of the attacks that we had against Bristol City, at times we had 5 and 6 in the box because we're pinning them back. So. It sometimes when you're pinning a team back, your clearer chances don't really sort of materialise. You have to be patient, and you have to move the ball, and you have to pick the right time to put the ball in, because they're defending deep, they're defending in the width of the goal, and as I said on Tuesday night, I think Andy Carroll's position second half would possibly be 10 yards behind the D in their half. Really, is heat map. So that's us forcing the play and pinning it back. And when you've got that amount of numbers that you're playing against in the box, it isn't as easy as maybe a little bit more of an open game. But we'd rather have it that way. We'd rather be in the ascendancy, dictating the flow of the game, and trying to keep pushing teams back and getting those opportunities.
Does that all start from your goalkeeper in having the ability to play the ball out with his feet?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a difficult one for goalkeepers at times, and something maybe Joe has maybe not done as much as what he used to do. But we've got mobile forwards in the team, whether it's Andy Duncan, Flo or Azza. We've got young Josh, but he's a young boy at the moment, and he's more development in him physically and every part of the game. But it's no good just smashing it up. It's no good just smashing it up to them too. We try and play. We're not we want to be an effective team, Rob. We don't want to just play for the sake of it. We want to play forward, run forward. We don't just want to take 250 passes between centre halves. I don't want to be bored like that. I want us to play forward, run forward, and be positive and be effective. But certainly playing out for the back, I know, and maybe it is something that maybe the club has not been used to as much as is happening now, and sometimes people can get a little bit edgy, and I don't want it to be we're playing out for the back for the sake of it, just to sort of tick a box or how we play, but there has to be some sort of build in our play, and obviously that does come from the goalkeeper.